Guys, that is the hardest I've laughed in probably months because the build-up all the way to the very end was flawless.
Hi, I'm Vulphin, and Penny Parker, also known as Snapcube, is a YouTuber responsible for one of the coolest types of videos on this platform, Sonic Real Time Fandubs. On this video, I'll explain why these are awesome. Improvisation, or improv, is a style of acting where actors perform without a script, so they gotta create dialogue as they go, creating all kind of wacky and unexpected scenarios. Real-time fandubs are very similar to improv, but instead of having to enact with their bodies and gestures, they just focus on dialogue, cause visuals are already made. And so, a lot of the reasons why real-time fandubs are awesome are the principles that make an improv performance fun and exciting. These are the 3 main points I can grasp. I had an improv class once, a few years ago. They told us that a way of setting a good scene is by saying a random line or action in order to give direction to the scene. On the Sonic Fandub, we see this countless times throughout the both dubs. My favorite example comes on the Hero Story dub, on the cutscene after the Tails and Eggman fight. Eggman says some dialogue to Tails, so Eggman says this.
I miss my wife, Tails. I miss her a lot. I'll be back.
It's not just great for the comic itself, but for the whole setup. They were just fighting and screaming at each other. Eggman was crying in pain just a second before, and then he just lowers his voice and responds in a melancholic and depressed way. It's this unexpected contrast that creates a great joke, one of the most memorable scenes of the Hero Story dub. But saying random stuff, it's not what makes the story as fun and compelling as it is. One of the things a story needs to actually be a good story is having some sort of plot and motion, or else it's not that different to a boring Tuesday afternoon at home. A story needs a plot that moves forward and changes things. But how do people with no script achieve that movement without plans or prior organization? There is what some might call the most important principle about improvisation, and this is the yes and principle. It consists on taking as truth whatever the other actors say, just accepting it and moving the story by adding something else that complements it. By doing this, you don't need to plan a script. A couple of people and their ideas can and will eventually stack enough tension into the story, and it will resolve itself into a nice plot. On the dubs, we can see this countless times.
Why you got hot sauce on your head, cuz? What's wrong?
I put hot sauce on everything, from Twinkies to milk.
A masked villain named the Glitch is
Sonic,
taking over the
my
system.
long-lost lover. It's fine.
What? Hey, I told you not to bring that up anymore. I'm putting that behind me, Mr. President.
My finger's right on top of the delete button, Eggman. What are you gonna do to stop me?
You fool! I have 70 alternative accounts!
On acting, we know the kind of comedy filled with absurdity and deliberate nonsense as farce. In short, a farce is the style of comedy where a lot of silly and overly exaggerated situations happen and amaze the audience by how comically absurd they are. The real-time fandubs are no exception to this. It's just that we find funny what's absurd and unexpected. There are a lot of examples of this throughout the whole dub.
Maria.
I can't believe you did this. This is all your fault.
I can't believe your tits are 1 polygon!
The best part of all is that the most iconic scene of the dub, Eggman's announcement, is the culmination of these 3 points. The scene is set up from the previous scene. Shadow leaves the room saying he did some nasty stuff to Eggman's wife.
I peed on your wife, Robotnik. She's mine now. That's the law.
To which the camera cuts and proceeds with the cutscene. Eggman's reaction could have been just dismissing Shadow's action as a taunt, but no, the actor decided to acknowledge it as true and build up from that. So the next scene is about how Eggman lashes out and calls out Shadow on Twitter.com. We can see the spontaneity of the whole scene as he just rants of what Shadow told him.
So I'm making a call-out post on my Twitter.com. Shadow the Hedgehog, you got a smoke?
And then makes it so the laser beam is more than just a laser beam.
My super laser piss!
And about the farce, there is no need to explain that.
How do you like that, Obama? I pissed on the moon, you idiot!
These three principles made the most iconic scene of the whole dub. Even the actors knew how good it was since they recorded.
It was perfect!
Okay, real quick though, I want to talk about how happy I am.
Can we all stop recording so we can lock that in and make sure that stays forever? Yeah, just stop recording and then we'll start a new recording just so that we're sure that nobody loses.
Do let me say, improv requires a lot of adaptability. All of the actors did a great job in my opinion. They created something that managed to resonate with millions of people. It's not something easy to do, so great props to them. I hope you see why Sonic Real Time Fandubs are awesome.